no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, 6 Raiders sleepers that everyone needs to keep an eye on because they're not getting quite enough love. And if you love the Raiders Report, if you could do me a favor, go download the Newsbreak app, chatsports.com/RaidersNB. If you got my back and you love this show, please go download this free app. It helps me a ton. And then look in the search bar, follow the Raiders Report. That way I can show everyone here at Chat Sports that Raider Nation gets down. So what exactly is a sleeper player? My definition of a sleeper player is a player that succeeds past expectations. Somebody that's not a household name, but by the end of the year, you're like, you know what? That guy had a good year. He definitely played a lot better than what I ever thought he was going to do. So coming up here on today's show, I'm going to rank it from 6 all the way down to 1, 1 being the biggest sleeper on the team. At number 6, I'm going to go with Amik Robertson, cornerback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Drafted in the 4th round of the 2020 NFL Draft. He played only 35 snaps last season, and when he did play, he did not look very good. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, Paul Gunther's defense was confusing, and Robertson looked confused, and he also looked like a rookie here. But now he has the chance to play in the nickel. Not only play in the nickel, but actually start there. Bradley has also said that he likes his ability as an outside corner as well. So if they see versatility and they like what he's bringing to the table, he's going to get more opportunities. And if Robertson gets more opportunities and gets a little bit confidence going, you could see some good things happen because he's got a good quick first step. He's got good ball skills. He had 14 interceptions coming out of Louisiana Tech in 3 years and was one of the more underrated players coming out in the draft. So Amik Robertson, that's the first sleeper I'm bringing up here. Next guy coming up here on the Raiders Report, I got Rasul Douglas because I was actually surprised that I've seen a few 53-man roster projections out there from other sites that don't have Douglas on the team. I just can't wrap my mind around him not making the roster. Now, I also said the same thing about Prince Amukamara last year, but he's got 4 years of NFL experience with 2,370 snaps played. That's important. He's had a great first 2 seasons in Philly, 5 picks. The last 2 years, he's struggled a little bit more, but on worse teams. And he's already got 6 playoff games underneath his belt. Like, one of the biggest reasons why the Raiders struggle every single year, at least the last 2 years, they don't have guys that can get it done near the end of the season. I mean, that's 100% a fact. So if I can go out and add a young player who's only 25 years old, that's already played in 6 playoff games, has a Super Bowl ring, can bring him in, make him 1 year, $920K, why wouldn't you keep him on the team? And if I'm being 100% legitimate with you, I'd rather see Douglas on the field than a guy like Damon Arnett, then Isaiah Johnson, then Nevin Lawson, because I believe that Douglas at 25 years old has a higher upside than a lot of those other players here. That's just me being real with y'all. But how about this? Let's hear it from you. I want you to name a Raiders sleeper for the 2021 season. If you see somebody on my list that you like, hey, you can go ahead, put their name in there. If you want to put more than one player, cool part about YouTube, you can comment as many times as you want as long as you don't start dropping some F-bombs. So if you could, name a Raiders sleeper for the 2021 season. Next guy coming up here on my list, I got Solomon Thomas, who this dude has never really lived up to being the number 3 overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. I like a lot of the stuff that he's already done this offseason. He's bulked up a little bit. He tried to get faster as well, which, sure, this is always the part of the year where everyone's in the best shape of their life, or I've never seen this guy do this or this and that, right? However, Thomas seems motivated, and one of the biggest reasons why he wanted to sign with Las Vegas is because that scheme is very similar to what I did at Stanford. And if the 49ers weren't willing to, we'll say, adjust to what he wanted, or he couldn't really adjust to what the 49ers wanted, maybe he can adjust to exactly what the Raiders are going to do. And what if actually lives up to being the number 3 overall pick? He's coming off an ACL injury, which happened in week 2 last year, which scares me a little bit. However, all the reports are that he is ahead of schedule. But anytime that you're taken in the top 5, I mean, we even see it with Cleveland Ferrell. His rookie year, he struggled. Next season, he played a lot better. And if Thomas can take a jump that we saw Clee make from year 1 to year 2, and if he can make that this year, that's going to be a pretty damn good football player. So Solomon Thomas is a guy that a lot of people need to keep in mind. Now, if you haven't already, please go ahead and download the free, yes, free Newsbreak app. So here's how you do it. Go to chatsports.com/RaidersNB. If you go to that link on your iPhone or Android, it's going to take you to the App Store. Once you're at the App Store, click download the app, and then you'll be there. All you got to do then is look in the very top right of your corner of your screen. There's going to be a search bar. Search the Raiders Report, and then follow the Raiders Report for exclusive content from us and also exclusive content from everyone else out there, right? But if you're also looking to stay up to date in the local news and weather, whether you live in Las Vegas, Oakland, or I don't know, Dallas, Texas. It doesn't matter what your zip code is. This app is actually very, very useful. Stay up to date on politics, food, pop culture, extra sports content. And also, it actually really, really helps me out because we're doing a competition here at Chat Sports. So if you could, download the app, show everyone here at Chat Sports that Raider Nation gets down. And how do you do it? chatsports.com/RaidersNB. If you need help getting set up with the app, don't be afraid to DM me. Newsbreak on my Instagram. I would be more than happy to show you all how to download the app. Let's go to number 3 here on my Raiders sleepers list. I got John Brown, and I'm actually surprised that I have to put John Brown on this list because when he signed with the Raiders for that deal that he did with $5.5 million, basically going to get 3.5 guaranteed. I was like, here's your wide receiver 2. This could be the guy that's going to be your Nelson Aguilar replacement. However, reports are that they want Ruggs, Edwards, and Renfrow to be the top 3 receivers. And you know what? I 100% agree. I want those 3 guys to be your top 3 wide receivers as well because that's your future. No disrespect, Brown. You're not the future of this team. But if you were to ask me who has the best chance of leading the Raiders in receiving yards, if they all had the exact same amount of snaps, I'd probably go with John Brown. Why? Sure, he's coming off an injured year. 2019, he had over 1,000 yards. He's a dynamic player who can run good routes, and he can stretch the field. Plus, from a talent standpoint alone, I think he's actually a lot more talented than Nelson Aguilar, and he can catch better. He just needs the opportunity, and he needs to stay healthy. And if he does beat out Ruggs, if he does beat out Edwards, and they give him that shot, he's going to be a player that I'm telling you could live up to some serious expectations, at least that I've set for him. But who knows? Maybe Edwards and Ruggs really take that next step. Now, if you guys are always looking for Raiders videos on YouTube, whether it's news, whether it's rumors, whether it's just random analysis on the top trending topics going around the Raider Nation, we got you covered here. I know it's the middle of June. Some people are like, Mitch, there's nothing really going on. That's false. If you're a diehard fan, if you bleed silver and black, this is the time of the year that everyone needs to watch because this is the time of the year that you can miss a lot of things. If you would have been subscribed to the Raiders Report back in 2019 and I was hyping up Max Crosby, you would have then not be too surprised that he had the year that he had. Now that I think 10 sacks as a rookie? No. But I also said this was going to be a player that was a sleeper. So if you're watching the show now, take some notes on some of these sleepers. Let's go to number 2 on my list. It's Nicholas Morrow. For Raider fans, he's a well-known name. However, I also made this video based on the idea that people around the NFL need to get some of these names in mind, especially Nicholas Morrow, because for whatever reason, he is one of probably the most disrespected players on the Raiders. I'll say that because we always talk about Kukowski, we always talk about Corey Littleton, but Nicholas Morrow to me was probably the best coverage linebacker on the team last year. One of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL. Has been with the team, has continued to work his freaking tail off from being a UDFA, had 81 tackles last season, and he's a leader in the locker room. It's one of the biggest reasons why the Raiders wanted to bring him back to a 1-year, $5 million deal. He's only 25 years old. He continues to show that he's able to work his tail off, and he had 78 tackles. My mistake, 3 off. But 3 sacks as well. He also gets better and better every year. That's everything you want for in a young player. So that's why Nicholas Morrow, he's a sleeper because he just deserves more love around the nation and around the NFL. So who's the biggest person or unit that the NFL and everyone else is sleeping on? I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I know I said players, but I'm just going to throw out the entire offensive line. ESPN literally said that the Raiders had the worst offseason due to the offensive line moves. Okay, I get that Trent Brown was supposed to be good. He wasn't. Rodney Hudson was the worst run-blocking center in the league last year, and Gabe Jackson was an average-at-best guard. So, I get the fact that you're going to throw out those 3 big names, and sure, you have a lot of unproven players on this line. There is no doubt about it. But if you were paying your offensive line the most money in the entire National Football League, and they were giving you below-average output, wouldn't you switch a few things up? If you were trying to go to a younger roster, wouldn't you switch up a few things? I get Kolton Miller. Kolton Miller is going to be one of the best left tackles in the league. Maybe not this year, but it's going to happen soon, and I'm confident saying that. Richie Incognito, is he older? Yes, but guess what? When he was healthy in 2019, was one of the best guards, especially run-blocking guards in the league. Andre James, can he be as good as, Rodney Hudson? Probably not in pass blocking, but I guarantee he's a better run blocker at this point in his career. Denzelle Good. Can Denzelle continue to be dominant? I guess dominant's not the right word. Above average. You hope so. John Simpson's good depth. And then Alex Leatherwood. It really comes down to if Leatherwood can be worth a first-round pick and just be solid at this point. If Andre James can be an average center, then realistically you had exactly the same output that you had last season. So I don't understand all these people ripping the Raiders' offensive line moves. Anytime you see that the Raiders, I don't know, shouldn't have done this on the O-line or shouldn't have done that, to me, again, it's lazy analysis from people who don't really want to dive into the unsexiness of what is an offensive line, because I get it. They're not the players that are the big name guys. They're not the players that a household name recognizes, or it comes up on screen and they're like, oh, what? Like, if I'm doing a show, he's not even on a Raider. If I were to talk about Odell Beckham Jr., more people are going to click on that than if I talk about Andre James. Though, Andre James is a lot more important for the Raiders, right? So, bottom line is this. Stop ripping on my offensive line. It's starting to tick me off a little bit. So, if you guys made it this far in the video, we got to be doing something right around here. Please go ahead, hit me up on IG. It's at MitchellRenz365. I've been trying to get more people to come across what we do on Instagram, especially from my personal standpoint. We've been doing a lot more IG Lives. I'll post some things as well. Post some things on my story. If you also want to know what's going on in my daily life, by far the easiest way and easiest way to get a hold of me. So please hit me up at MitchellRenz365. All right, so here are some of these Las Vegas Raiders sleepers. At number 6, I had Amik Robertson, Rasul Douglas, Solomon Thomas. The only player on here that maybe has a chance of getting cut is Douglas, but if they do that, I think it would be a major, major mistake. Then you got John Brown at number 3, Nicholas Morrow at number 2, and the Raiders' offensive line at number 1. So earlier in the show, I said, hey, comment a Raiders sleeper. If you don't see the player that you commented, or if you're like, man, you missed out on this guy, guess what the cool part about YouTube is? You can go down in the comments section as I burp behind screen, and you can go ahead and let me know. And again, if you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and hit that big red button that says subscribe.